Ec54b, Catching Up. Soul to Soul Talk. Catching Up, Part B. Life Guiding Conversations with Morai, Amoro and Jenai Summer. Good afternoon, Jenai. Are you ready to continue our conversation in regards to catching up? Of course, Morai. So, the last time we ended up talking about the self-created limited mind patterns, and that our new way of thinking to change something would be the training of new patterns. This in the hope that the old way of thinking goes in the background. Otherwise, our new thoughts and visualizations will not take place as it is not able to catch up. Many of the new and different patterns of living, thinking, and experience life we receive from others around us, reading in books, going to seminars, listening to the news or online. This inspiration we get from them who have trained and experienced the benefits of them. We have to go this new adventure by doing our very best and hopefully not finding any excuses to delay the process. But we must also do this without any expectations. We cannot calculate outcomes, but just have to go the adventure in training new ways of thinking, food habits, fitness activities, communication, better relationship and parenting patterns, and go on. Depending on what is written in our personal book of life, or what Kandu the Creator gives us, we see what comes and not comes, and just have to accept. We see what is able to catch up from the thoughts to the body and its actions, and cannot compare ourselves with nobody, as we are individual and unique. When we don't keep this in mind, we set ourselves up for failure, disappointment, and become victims. However, all this is still playing with and within the familiar world and self-created mind reality of me and mine. When we would be able to let go of the familiar, we would end up in really experiencing something new and not familiar at all. Sometimes we receive thoughts and visualizations that come from the universal mind, which I compare with the largest shopping center in existence. This is the source where inventors, scientists, artists, and musicians step into, and it comes to them as a surprise. But even then, their old mindset and body and actions will have to catch up on the complete new, which mostly is very hard work. Morai, why are we not able to tap into the universal mind? This is a mind reality by itself and goes according to the book of life and cycles of life, in which some new things come in this period in history of time, but other things come in the far future as they do not fit in at this moment. There are individuals who can tap into this universal mind at will, and could take anything belonging to the past and future, but most of them don't, as they live according to the will of Kandu, and do not interfere with the book of life in the familiar world. Do sometimes individuals who can do this take things to this world they shouldn't? Yes, but mostly not things, but ideas, to increase their power, and the price they pay for this in the long run I don't even want to talk and think about. It is the same with people in the familiar world reality doing things for power and with bad intentions. Messing around with the will of Kandu, presented as universal and nature's law and regulations, is not a small thing, as every action has a reaction, and the suffering related is very heavy. Just think already us in the familiar world, thinking, saying, eating, and doing things against universal and nature's law. See the suffering and consequences we and everyone has to face. In this context, I can assure you that these reactions will catch up on us and expressing themselves in endless ways of signs, symptoms, disease, pain, trouble and struggle, and thus suffering, and this can be in any aspect or area of our life. I am getting this, and it's very scary and possibly should be. Morai, however, about this catching up. What about individuals breaking man-made laws? Criminals and drug dealers, and even doping in sports, which I recently heard about, they are always one step ahead of being caught by the police. That will always be there. But regarding the universal, indisputable laws, they all have no chance. Action will have a reaction, and the punishment will catch up on them in one way or another. Now, Jenai, let's go one layer deeper into the matter regarding catching up, and us thinking, wanting to become really good human beings, and stepping into a faith or path to realize and experience that we are not what we think we are, but that we are eternal souls, drops of the eternal ocean of Kandu, the creator and life sustainer. Morai, I can see this immediately, that just thinking this will not get us very far. Not our thinking, nor the body and the actions will catch up on this. But for sure, it can be done. Otherwise, you wouldn't have mentioned this. It is possible, Jenai, but the catching up will have a complete different perspective on the subject, as you will see. When it is just about thinking that you want to become a good human being, or listening to what it is to be one, or just to read scriptures, nor the mind, nor the body, nor your actions will catch up. It might just end up in endless debates and even criticizing others who in your eyes are not good human beings, without you ever experiencing what it really is. This requires a complete transformation and then walking the path of being a good human being. Scriptures, lectures, and listening to others about this subject may help and give you an inspiration, but then the really hard work starts. A good human being is to be one all the time, in all aspects and areas of life. These examples have been there throughout history and also today, but you must find one, but then finding out that they are not perfect, as we can always find some fault or imperfection on them or in their life, for they are still part of the imperfect world of body, mind and matter. It is, however, that essence of being a good human being that shines out from within them. Being around those persons is a great plus, and they will not claim themselves that they are perfect, but something inside which you can find inside yourself as well. In general, they lead a simple life, and just do that will be a long road, as we are connected to that self-created reality of what is me and mine. This is, however, also not renouncing the world and our obligations and living on others, but to become more awake and aware about every action, from thought to word and deed. Morai, and this is where silent prayer and meditation come into play again, isn't it? Yes, Jenai. For what we think we are and how we think must go out of the way. And this is the same path we need to take in order to find out who we really are, about Kandu, and our return to our eternal home. Morai, explain more about what we think we are. The universal mind was given to us being souls to be of help in our adventure, in the illusion or dream called creation. But as we lost our true identity being a soul, and thus as well our connection with Kandu the Creator, a different reality created itself. Here, the identification with me and mine started, and here are some things to think about, now or later in your life, Jenai. Listen carefully. I think that I can think, and for that I am real. But who am I that thinks it can think and thinks that I am? Our true identity, the soul, doesn't think, it knows and just is. But see what happens with one thought. One thought which goes into the creation, a reality that is an illusion in which everything constantly changes, has a lifespan and bound to time, created with opposites and bound to action and reaction, called causality, a reality in which we pay for any action, all coming forth from that one thought. A thought seeks a direction, makes a choice according to its prevailing conditions and experiences it in one of the two opposite streams of thinking, which then will be judged as good or bad. By doing so, judging Kandu's will, who created the indisputable laws of universe and nature, and even forgetting that a preference and opinion in this reality is a form of judgment, and by which we will be judged. We have created our own government and courthouse, so to speak, inside our mind, and are the judges of ourselves, others, and everything in this reality, which has become a self-created prison. In this prison we have captured the soul, and are just busy with more and more thoughts, all manifesting themselves, and for which we have to pay. The good and bad thoughts in the realm of me and mine will bind us to the self-created prison, some bringing some comfort and others devastation, but all still part within this prison. This training, so to speak, of getting out of this prison and to get out of the way and to get our thoughts out of the way is done through inner silent prayer and meditation. And you can see this intention in all religions and practices. In Christianity, we see the Rosary as that help of repeating a prayer over and over again. We hear the Buddhist monks repeating a mantra, and as said, in every religion we see this practice. Call it a mantra or prayer, which is a track of words that are actually pure neutral thoughts that replace our individual thoughts and bring us into the stream in which we can rediscover what and who we truly are. This is praying and repeating to the extent that we forget our praying itself and merging into that audible life stream, Holy Ghost, Shabbat, or any other name given to this eternal power. We need to get with our thoughts out of the way so that we can catch up and rediscover that what we really are, a soul, an eternal being of light, love, and life. Morai, this seems to be an impossible task. Do you think that the mind and then the body and our actions will be able to catch up in this mission? Yes, but catching up in a different way, as I said before, and we will be talking about that the next time. Thank you, Morai. You are most welcome, Jenai.